everybody, today we are going over the psoas sit-up. So the psoas is a hip flexion muscle. So hip flexion, for those who don't know what that is in particular, hip flexion is the process of bringing your knee towards your chest. So knee coming towards my chest, this is hip flexion. Knee going away from my chest, this is hip extension. So flexion, extension, hip extension, yeah. So your hip flexor, very, very important as far as being strong and stabilizing your hip and your core. Its strength, if it's weak, you'll have issues for performing things like, this may sound weird, but squatting, because your hip flexor, even though it's heavily concentrically active as you go down and has to eccentrically lengthen as you go back up. So you might not feel it as much in squat, but it does play a role. It will play more of a role in something like sprinting or running or things that involve being upright as far as movement patterns are concerned. So strong hip flexor is really good for that. If you're a rower like me, actually, having a strong hip flexor in a bigger range of motion helps, because in a rowing stroke or in most athletic events or movements, you go from a hip flexion to extension. So having your hip flexors strong in flexion and extension can benefit you, because, and here's where the big caveat is your body can only be as strong as its antagonist pairing. Meaning, if let's say you bicep curl 50 pounds, but you cannot tricep kick back the equivalent of what would be necessary on your tricep to resist 50 pounds, your body will not let your bicep get any stronger, because that will put you at risk for an injury due to a muscular imbalance. So, most of the athletic endeavors, like I said, involve hip extension. That's your glutes, hamstrings, right? Well, if your hip flexors are strong enough to resist or counterforce your glutes and hamstrings, you're going to be limited as far as your results and progress. So, after all that word vomit, let's talk about the psoas sit-up and how it's going to work. So you're going to set up with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. I think you can see mine right here. Boom. You're going to grab on to it, set it right there. You're going to loop your foot up and underneath it. You're going to grab hold here. Choose the other leg. Grab hold, boom, loop up and underneath. Up and underneath. Grab hold here. Now I'm using my foot by hooking up on here to pull up against the kettlebell here, and I'm keeping that tension as I do this, working both my hip flexor. You might get a little rectus abdominis, which is like your six-pack muscle that's vertical up and down. You might get a little bit of those vibes and feel those muscles engage just a little bit, but you should feel that predominantly in your hip flexor, which is right here. Hey guys, this is the psoas sit-up. Once again, working and training your hip flexor. Boom, I'll show you guys from a slightly different angle. You guys see that kettlebell right there. Boom. Foot hooked under. Oh, caveat. You want the kettlebell to be slightly far enough away from you. If you have the kettlebell too close, you won't be able to provide enough hip flexion tension. So I'll probably move that out right about there. Knee grabbed, driving up. Ooh, there we go, hip flexor. I can tell you guys, after doing this on both sides, my right hip flexor is slightly weaker than my left. But that's okay. That means I need to do more of this exercise. Yeah, guys, that is the psoas sit-up. Great way to strengthen and train your hip flexors. If you want to make it more difficult, you can probably load yourself, so you can like go like this and then like have like a kettlebell or a dumbbell on your chest while you do it. That'll definitely add a little more mechanical tension into the mix. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions about the psoas hip flexor, the psoas hip flexor, which is a muscle, or the psoas sit-up, which is the exercise we just did, go ahead and throw that into the comments. I'd be happy to answer the question. If you have any questions about any other exercise on the channel, also throw in the comments. I'll answer those questions. And of course, if you haven't yet, I definitely recommend you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Ooh, lastly, new playlist going on called Questing with Quadfather, where basically learn more about me, my life, and my endeavors. If you're curious to learn more about me as a human being, go check out that playlist. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you later.